If I can't stop them, who will?
Introducing Battlezone, the arcade hit that's now an exciting new home game from Atari. The joystick puts you in control of your own tank. The radar screen helps you seek out the enemy. The action's so real, you just might forget it's a game. Battlezone, only from Atari.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play 1001 Games. I'm your host, Gaming Jay, and this is episode 149, guys. We are one episode away from our 150th episode, which I think is a pretty cool achievement, if you ask me. Now, today we're going to be playing Battlezone, the Atari arcade classic. It is a vector graphic tank combat game, as you can see there, Battlezone. The title is zooming out as if it were Star Wars, only there's no opening crawl, so we have no context with which to place this story. Not that there's going to be much of a story, because these old arcade games were pretty much just kill a thing and get points. That's the whole story slash plot. Ooh, there's the moon. Got some cool vectorized scenery in the background there. Now, I decided for episode 149, 150, and 151, I'd kind of do a mini-series where I would play through combat games, and I thought I'd start with the oldest and move my way up to the quote-unquote newest. So I'm going to do Battlezone for this episode. For the next episode, I'm going to do Mech Warrior 2, which is one of my all-time favorite games as a kid. It is slightly more advanced than Battlezone, but not like terribly more advanced. And then I thought we would hop over to Star Fox 64, the classic N64 combat game that everyone raved about and loved. And I, of course, have no idea what they're talking about because I didn't have an N64 growing up. So it'll be a first exposure for me on episode 151. But anyway, today we are hopping into Battlezone. So without further ado, let's go ahead and insert some coins and try and beat the evil Jed, the terrible MPH, and the sinister EDR on the title screen. So let's go ahead and hop in here. All right, now, oh, there we go. Sorry, I forgot the controls for a second. Now, this game does not control like a normal game. So, full disclosure, I'm using an Xbox 360 controller here because this game actually requires dual joysticks. So I didn't use my regular arcade stick for this. I usually do that when I'm playing arcade games. I try to, if I can't play a game on the original system, I at least try to match the controls to the game that I'm playing here. I'm just decimating. Look, I'm just killing tank after tank. These tanks hold no challenge for me, for the mighty J. What is that, a UFO? Is that a UFO? We're playing a tank game. Why is there a UFO? You know, the thing about Atari... Oh! Did that kill me? Okay, maybe we can't shoot the UFO. No, that's not right. The UFOs are supposed to be bonus points. Okay, I think a tank snuck up behind us and got us. Now okay, two things. First of all, I'm playing on an Xbox 360 controller, and I'm doing so because this game requires dual joysticks. And what that means is that you control the left and the right tread of the tank separately. So I'm pressing up on my right joystick, and I'm kind of actually like turning to the left. If I hold down on the left joystick, I turn even faster. Boom! Sucker, that was a drive-by. I'm just spinning in a circle here. And if you hold... What the hell is this? Whoa! Oh my god. Did I get it? What was that? I have no idea. Okay. I guess there's missiles or something. Damn it! But I got the UFO, that's something. What is this thing? It's like, oh god! That's terrifying, it comes so fast. Anyway, if you hold both sticks forward, then you go forward. Both sticks backwards, you go backwards. Otherwise, you know, one forward and one back, you kind of do a rotation, which I think is pretty damn cool. Okay, hold on. I have to enter my name here. Taking all my concentration. J-A... Jazz. J. Boom! Number one high score. Let's try and wipe all those losers off the high score. I want this to be my arcade machine. Like, if this is back in the 80s, I want to have it so when I come to the arcade, nobody's listed on this machine but me. Oh, hey, you don't get to escape. Get back over here. Hey! Look at him go! Okay. Boom, you're done. Nope. Okay, boom, you're done. Get him. Yes. Alright. I'm gonna try and move around a little bit more this time. But, I mean, staying in one place and just rotating seems to work pretty effectively. Not when you miss like that or that. Man, the aiming is actually so precise. I thought I could just sort of approximately aim, but no, you have to be like right on the mark. Damn it. wonder what like a good strategy is. Maybe I should kind of get into cover. As I'm kind of just like out in the wild. Okay, we're going to go over to this kind of triangle here. We'll use this as protection. No, die. Oh, man. Okay, stay near our beloved triangle. It will protect us. Oh, no. Whoa, they have radar dishes on top of their tanks. Leave my triangle alone. It's mine. Kind of forgot what I was talking about there. Oh yeah, like back in the day, before gaming control schemes had been standardized and every controller looked like an Xbox 360 or PS4 controller, I kind of feel like there was sometimes more creativity in like how games were kind of put out. Because like for this game, okay, the arcade machine for this, you looked into a periscope and you had 2 joysticks that you would use to control the treads. And yeah, that's like very atypical compared to a lot of other games at the time. But back in the day, like this was 1980. I mean, it was kind of atypical for 1980, but it wasn't as atypical because different games had different funky control schemes. So it was kind of a thing, you know? You could just set the game up to be controlled whatever way makes the most sense. So there is, you know, as much as I do like the fact that control schemes have standardized a bit, so there's some continuity. Oh god, I wish you could strafe. My like big downfall in this. I see a bullet coming towards me, there's nothing I can do. Like if you saw a bullet coming towards you, you'd have to like turn, then you'd have to move forward. Like you just have no shot. Basically, I wonder like what a really good strategy in this game is, because like yeah, like when a bullet's coming at you, what are you supposed to do? Nothing. So I guess don't get in that situation. But how do you do it? Like, okay, let's try and be protected by this square and this triangle. Let's see if this works. I really don't know what a good strategy is here. I need my LRMs and stuff. If you MechWarrior fans out there, I'll have a lot more fun on episode 150. But yeah, there's something cool about like back when there are no standards, how people can just experiment and you get, in some ways, more creativity than you might get today. Although not to say that like game developers don't still do that kind of stuff and experiment with control schemes and stuff. So yeah, it's just sort of a different era and like a different mentality towards gaming. Now, of course, leave it to Atari to make a tank game that takes place in space. Like, there's UFOs, first of all. There's a volcano in the background there. There's weird, basic geometry buildings, which I don't even know what they could be in the real world. Like, where am I? And there's, like, things that drop down out of the sky and, like, attack you with incredible speed if you get much further in this game. I did it once. Man, you know what? My first life, I did the best. I've just been sucking ever since. I think with the first life, I didn't really try to move around much, so let's try that again. Let's just see what happens if we stay in one spot. All right, here we go. Let's try this. Try this sucker again. One thing I don't like is it doesn't make a sound when you insert a quarter, so I don't know if it's registering. Get back here, you jerk. Come here. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're just going to spin around really fast. Enemy in range. Enemy to the right. Oh, it actually tells you. Wait, to the right. I've been turning left forever. Enemy to the rear. Enemy to the left. Oh my god, he's totally going to shoot me, isn't he? He's totally going to shoot me. Yep. I didn't have enough time to do anything. Okay, I should pay attention to that prompt. I feel like they put it there for a reason. Maybe to help me. Enemy in range. There he is. There's the bastard. No, miss me. Yes. Okay. What do we got? Enemy in range. Oh, there he is. Shoot again! Oh, there's like some delay after you shoot. Alright. Oh yeah. I love these like really primitive 3D graphics. It's pretty hilarious. I just imagine like, you know, playing this in like some little crappy diner or something with like, you know, your Coke beside you on like a Saturday night with like the glow of the machine kind of lighting up your face. Whoa! And like a couple of people watching you and people sitting around at tables having conversations. Maybe I have like a totally, this is not an accurate depiction of the 80s, but I like to imagine that that's kind of what it was like. That's the kind of scenario I want to see this game. That or like an awesome bar. Which there is a bar around me that is full of arcade games, which is pretty awesome. Whoa, what the? Die! Holy crap. I don't know what those things are, but they kind of scare me because they come so fast. To the left. Will I even get to see him before I'm dead? Oh yeah, he's behind a wall. Alright. Sucker! We're gonna camp this. Oh, he's dead. He's dead and he doesn't even know it. Maybe he knows it. Boom! Shouldn't have done that, should you, buddy? So staying near these things is like the best thing I can figure. To protection! Holy crap, that thing can jump! It can jump! Where was that in the rules? That's not fair. What the hell is that thing? It looks like a TIE fighter that has landed on a planet and like has no time for games. It's like, I'm here to kill you, and I don't care. I don't care if there's a building in my way. I'm just freaking jumping over it. Because guess what? I work for the Empire. Oh my god. Did I hit the power-up thing at least? I think I did, but I'm dead. Oh man. It's getting kind of tedious to enter my name. I wish I could just remember. Or like, allow me to do this more quickly. J-A-Y. Okay, we'll try just a couple more lives here. This won't be a super, super long episode because, like, I imagine the gameplay is getting a little repetitive, but hopefully my soothing voice and my amazing stories are, like, keeping you guys entertained. But yeah, leave it to Atari to make a game about tanks in space. Like, literally everything Atari touched in the 80s was like space. It was like space, 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 space. Everything must take place in space. Tennis in space. It's like, oh, I invented this awesome game. It's called Pong. It's about table tennis. Great, make the background black so it looks like they're in space. Everything is in space, 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 space. I think realistically, actually, there might be something to that background thing. Because, like, when you have very limited hardware, you don't want to spend a lot of it drawing pixels on the background, so you just leave them black. And as a result, every game looks like it's in space, so you might as well embrace it. So that's my own theory of why everything took place in space. Having done a bit of game development myself in my time, I suspect it was more of a hardware limitation than it was they were actually obsessed with space. Well, maybe they were. I mean, the 80s were like, you know, the space race, Star Wars, and all that stuff was real hot. Boom. That didn't protect you at all. If anything, it hindered you. This is a game that, of course, is, you know, despite being a tank game set in space, is, of course, a classic. I think they just recently, or maybe not like recently, but there is a version of this on the Xbox Live Arcade. Speaking of playing this on an Xbox controller, apparently they're also making a version of this for the Oculus Rift, because again, the original arcade machine had like a periscope device, so that's actually kind of perfect for the Rift. So I would be interested in trying this on the Rift. Oh man, maybe I should do like a redemption video and try this out. I might have to do that. Okay, we have almost wiped the board clear. I kind of want to get rid of Jed, because Jed bothers me. I don't mind MPH, because those are awesome initials to have. If your initials are actually MPH, oh man, do any of you guys out there have initials that actually, like, stand for something? Like, are your initials MPH, or, like, FBI, or, like, what are other cool ones? I mean, like, CIA is the only thing coming to mind, because I just said FBI. I don't know. If you have initials that stand for something, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear that. My initials don't really stand for anything. That'd be cool if my initials were like J-A-Y. Although maybe that would be like too annoying. Okay. I'm trying to outrun the bullets this time. I'm playing it smart. It looks like I'm turning around really slow. But I feel like I survived a little longer there than usual. So that wasn't just, you know, that wasn't all for naught. But I do like the way the tanks explode when you shoot them. It's really satisfying to, like, watch them just, oh god, just explode. Also, like, the game keeps going after you die, so if you've shot, you could potentially still kill your enemy. I appreciate that. A little bit of forgivingness to the player. Man, look at that cheesy, cheesy moon there. Oh man, that is pretty damn funny, I'll tell you. To the right, to the right, to the right. Turn around, get him. Boom, that was a drive-by. Drive-by tanking. Okay, so you guys want to hear the most craziest trivia about this game ever? I know for like many games I kind of spout out like a handful of trivia. For this game actually, so for every game I play, for all 148 games I've played to date, I do a little bit of background reading before I actually play the game, just so I have some things to talk about. And maybe I'll make a few notes. And I found, as I've, you know, made more and more videos, I found that I don't need to do as much background research for any particular game because I'm a little better at sort of just random banter as I play. Or I don't know, maybe I'm not. Maybe my banter sucks and you guys can fill me in on that little detail in the comments. Feedback, guys. Feedback is always important. But, for some games, like, I expect to find a lot of trivia that I could use and I could talk about. But then there's certain games, like really, really simple or old games, I don't expect to find much. So I didn't have many expectations for Battlezone. I thought, well, I'll find a couple of little interesting facts and I'll let them know what's going on. And, the rest I'll just kind of wing it. But for Battlezone, there's actually so much history about it. It's like there was too much for me to talk about. And so I decided just to grab one of the craziest stories I've ever heard regarding a video game. But Battlezone, it came out in 1980. When it did, the US Army wanted a version of it to train their soldiers. Yes, they looked at this and they said, it's so damn advanced, we must have this technology to train our soldiers. Which, fair enough. I mean, for the time, when there's no other simulator, this could be a functional-ish simulator. Anyway, the Army actually approached Atari and said, we want a version of this made for us. And Atari said yes, but there was controversy within the company. A lot of programmers didn't want to build games for the Army. They didn't want to be associated with war. And I think one of the game's developers refused. They said, I'm not interested. Ultimately, he agreed as long as he didn't ever have to work with the Army again. So he said he would create a version of Battlezone for the Army, but he would never do it again. And it happened. The Army got a version of Battlezone. And apparently, though, they only ever made 2 machines. So literally, if you were in the Army in the 80s, in the early 80s, you potentially could have trained on a version of Battlezone. Now get this, they didn't just get Battlezone, they got a special version of Battlezone. A version that had helicopters, missiles, machine guns. Man, they got like the DLC pack or something back then. They got the upgraded version of Battlezone. And as far as I know, this version, I haven't double-checked this, but I didn't read anything that said it was available. I don't think it's necessarily available anywhere. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, only 2 machines were ever built. And guess what? One was lost. Okay, guess where the other one is? Oh, it's in a private collection because somebody found it in a dumpster behind Midway Games. Yes, one of only 2 Battlezones ever developed for the Army. And some employee at Midway decided, oh, we don't need this anymore. Let's just throw this one-of-a-kind, unique machine in the trash. So somebody fished it out of a dumpster in a parking lot behind Midway Games. That is some shit, let me tell you. That's crazy. Not only did the Army get a version of this game that nobody else has, and only 2 ever made, one was lost, but the other one ended up in a dumpster. Oh my god. That, as a collector, that hurts my soul. Who would do that? That employee should be fired on premise alone. You cannot work for a video game company if your instinct when you get one of the rarest gaming arcade cabinets in existence is, throw it out. Nobody wants this. Oh my god, they should have just given it to an employee. I'm sorry I'm getting so worked up about this, but think about it. Any employee would have probably taken it for free, but they threw it out. Ridiculous. Oh my god, it reminds me actually a little bit of the Nintendo PlayStation. So I don't know if you guys are kind of aware, but originally Nintendo paired up with Sony in order to create a CD-based kind of Super Nintendo add-on thing, and they built a prototype called the Nintendo PlayStation. And then ultimately, like, Nintendo kind of like went behind Sony's back and partnered with Philips, and there was this huge fallout, and then Sony created their own PlayStation. Anyway, this was kind of like a rumor for a long time, although it was like more or less, it was like, confirmed by people who were in the business at the time. But I guess a couple of years ago, somebody actually found a Nintendo PlayStation, a prototype, in like an attic or something, and it went up for auction, and somebody bought it, and now this thing has been studied, and it's been documented, and it exists out there. Like, you know what? They say one version of Battlezone has been lost, presumed lost. If you have it, my god, it's like sitting on another Nintendo PlayStation. Like, come forward, man. And you know what? Like, I'm not in favor of piracy or anything, guys, but that one guy out there who owns the military's version of Battlezone, he needs to do a ROM dump so that for the ages we can preserve the code. We can preserve history, like, There's only 2 of these things, so if Scott Guerin, I think, is the guy who owns it. Hey man, if you're listening to this somehow, some way, do a ROM dump just for the rest of us. And if by chance you were the other guy or gal who happens to own Battlezone somehow, the one made for the Army, for the love of God, tell someone and do a ROM dump, because it's so sad when part of history is lost to the ages. Whoa, we did it! Oh man, if we play one more game, we're going to wipe the board clean. Okay, time to wrap up. And this is the victory round of Battlezone. So what have we learned here today, guys? I think we have learned that Gaming Jay has the patience and determination, I don't know, of a saint. I've played 149 games, not always terribly well, but I've played them. I've made the effort. If you have never tuned in before, I am on a quest to play through the book 1001 Video Games Just Play Before You Die, so episode 150 is one more milestone along that way. I think we've also learned that some old games had some pretty inventive ideas for controls, and also that the Army is interested in video games, and they're interested in training people, and I wonder if these days, if they ever approach game developers about anything. Probably not. Now, in terms of Battlezone here, all right, this was in the book, 1001 Video Games You Must Play Before You Die, but is it a must-play? I don't think so. I have definitely been kind of enjoying playing Battlezone here in the background with you guys, but to be honest, I feel like you don't last very long. It's like I start a life and I'm dead pretty instantly. You know, I kind of like wander around a bit, I get a couple of kills, and then something spawns behind me and kills me, and that's kind of it. I don't have like a ton of strategy here, and I guess you probably could develop a strategy to be really good at this, but like it's not striking me as like a game like, oh my god, I can't wait to kill the next tank. It's like, it's decent. And you know what? For the time it came out, again, put it in context. This would have been a really cool game back in the day when you're playing, you know, other things like Pong and so on. You see like Battlezone in arcade. I would totally play that. Boom, we rule the boards. Let's keep going while I finish wrapping up here. So like ultimately, you know, it is like an inventive game, an important game in like the history of gaming, and definitely one of the very first simulation games. So all the simulation games to come, like MechWarrior 2, which we'll be playing next, owe something a little bit to Battlezone. So of course, it does have some pros. The cons are you kind of die really quickly. It's a pretty simple game, and probably by most modern standards. If you do want to play a combat game, there's a variety of other games you could play instead. So is this a game you should play before you die? I would say, you know, maybe if you want to check it out for nostalgia's sake, but otherwise you could easily skip it. You won't be missing anything essential here. But anyway, that's all for me today. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video, and hopefully you've been watching along, watching all the other videos that have been playing over the past year and a half or so. There's plenty more to come, and as I say, MechWarrior 2 will have the honor of being our 150th video, followed by Star Fox 64. So hey, you've been liking this video? Go ahead and give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you want to watch those other videos or any of the videos to come. And in the meantime, guys, don't go throwing away priceless parts of gaming culture's history. If you find something old and gamey, send it to me. I will happily take it off your hands. Until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves. Peace.
To entertain, to educate, to simplify.
To Atari!
You just gotta figure, like, what was that conversation like where they threw the machine out? It was like, sir, we found one of the rarest arcade machines in all existence. And he's like, yeah, but it takes up so much floor space. Can you get out of here, Johnson? Like, just throw it out. And you got to figure the guy throwing it out must not know when he had. Like, maybe they had no idea. They were just like, what is this? Throw it in the dumpster. It must have been the happiest day of that guy's life who found it, I tell you. I used to have dreams as a kid of, like, stumbling upon something so rare. Like, going home and finding a Super Nintendo in a garbage that worked, and running home and playing it. That was my fantasy as a kid, finding that kind of stuff. And it came true. It came true for someone. Good for him. Good for him. I'm not jealous at all. Not jealous at all. I'm a little jealous, I'll be honest.